As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to
Beyond the Void.
Horror Podcast.
Damn, girl.
Woo! My nipples are hard. Ready to go.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to a brand new episode, our Thursdays Flesh and Potatoes. Today, we're going to be talking about two movies. We're actually going to be calling this episode Human Seamstress.
So perfect.
And why did we call it that? It's because we're talking about two movies, American Mary and
May.
So you're going to want to stick around for that. I feel like we should just jump right into it. What do you think, Brittany?
Let's do it.
Let's do
Flush
this shit.
first.
Guys, buckle the fuck up and hang on to your buttholes because we're going to go for a ride.
Hang on to your buttholes. Shit's gonna get poopy. I don't know.
Wow, I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't, because that was pretty great.
I can't even. Things are going
Shit's gonna get more articulate because we're not there yet.
Clearly, we're getting more articulate.
I hope so, because we're starting on the downward scale currently. Only one way to go, and that's hopefully up.
Anyway, guys, hang tight for our flesh and potatoes of Human
Seamstress.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're going to kick it off with one of the movies of the two. Which one should we do, Brittany?
One of the movies of the two.
Yeah, which one should we do?
I mean, do you want to do chronological order or?
Whatever. I mean, we could do, American Mary. We can do May. It doesn't matter.
Let's do American Mary first.
Ladies' choice.
Oh,
It is Women in Horror Month, so.
It's Brittany in Horror Month.
So you want to do American Mary first?
Yeah, let's do American Mary first.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Aye, yo.
Y'all ready?
Y'all
Y'all ready for this? Oh, my God. Fuck you. Oh, my God. Jinx, you owe me a battle tank.
We do that a lot.
We do that a lot. Because we have so many stupid fucking references built up in our brain.
We're pop culture.
Pop culture. Oh. All right, guys. We're going to kick it off with American Mary first. This movie was released in 2012. Just a quick little gist about what it is. The allure of easy money sends Mary Mason, a medical student, into the world of underground surgeries, which ends up leaving more marks on her than her so-called freakish clients. This film was directed and written by the Twisted Twins themselves, Jen and Sylvia Soska, who are mostly known, in my opinion, as they should be, for their first movie that they ever did, Dead Hooker in a Trunk.
Way to kick open the door.
And their first major feature film that they did, that was released, I guess probably the major production, was See No Evil 2. And also they did another film called Vendetta, and then a whole bunch of crazy amount of shorts, short films and videos and things like that. If you don't know who they are, I feel sorry for you.
And they also do Hellevator.
And they do Hellevator, which is
actually probably popular.
Pretty ridiculous game show, but
right.
I mean it's fucking
I
entertaining.
like it.
It's
I
fucking
actually like
entertaining.
it. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't like necessarily like all the reactions of everyone, but it's a crapshoot. You don't know.
There's some pretty fantastic people
but
that they
the
pick for that
Soska
shit,
Sisters are
so
fucking badass. I'm like they're fucking dark
they crack me
humor.
up.
Yeah, it's fucking great, dude.
I want
It's so theatrical, but it's funny.
I really like them. Just 'cause I'm gonna fangirl out a little bit about how much I like them.
Go ahead.
And also about how they cast one of my favorite women ever in this movie. So
we'll get into that.
we're about to.
That's what you were born to do.
We're gonna get into it. I'm born. I'm ready.
We're about to. That's what I was born to do.
Jesus Christ. I'm drooling over here.
Warm it up, Britt.
No.
I'm old. I'm sorry.
I'm old. Like, I'm not that old, Alex.
I'm dying.
Oh, God. Get the Bengay. All right. So, this movie stars one of my favorite actresses ever, Catherine Isabelle, who plays Mary Mason herself, who is mostly known for her role in Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
She's also in Bones, Insomnia, and she was on Hannibal, the TV series, which is also fucking incredible and got canceled way too soon, in my opinion.
Wow.
It also stars Antonio Cupo, who plays Billy Barker, who's known for Hollywood Flies, Smile, and Sword of War, and a whole bunch of TV roles. It also has Tristan Risk, who plays Beatrice Johnson, or aka Betty Boop.
Oh, yeah.
Who was in Darkest Hour. She was also in The Editor.
They did a really good job on her makeup.
Pretty good.
Face and stuff.
Her and Ruby Real Girl were pretty decent.
Yeah.
And she's also in Cabaret of the Dead. Last but not least, who I'm going to mention is David Lovegren, who plays Dr. Grant, who was in Cool Runnings. Which I thought was excellent. Like, I don't know if many people know what Cool Runnings is, but it's like about the Jamaican bobsled
I know what
team.
it is. A Jamaican bobsled
I think
team.
he's like the Swedish coach.
He must be.
And I died.
I mean, can I just say something real quick before you get any further? Does his beard seem real? Like,
No.
does any of his hair seem real? Because it just felt weird, right? Like, am I wrong?
No, you're right. Like, the whole time I was like,
It's like almost like he had fake hair on. And
But it's probably because I also fucking hate his character.
yeah,
So
it's pretty easy to hate him.
I'm looking for a lot of faults there.
But continue on.
He's also in an episode of Masters of Horror. When the episode was called Sounds Like, and he played a therapist.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot
of these actors and actresses actually did bit roles on like Masters of Horror,
Twilight Zone and stuff like, or not. Well, in May
or they
as
did
well.
in episodes. I'm sorry, they were one of the characters in one of the ABCs of Death and things like that. Goes on and on and on and on. Another film he was in is called The Humanity Bureau. He also does a lot of TV roles.
Okay.
And stuff too. So Alex, I am intrigued. What were your thoughts on this?
Well,
movie?
I'm going to be blatantly honest here.
Be blunt. Just be blunt. Roll blunt and be blunt.
The first time I saw this movie, I don't think that it hit the way that I needed it to hit for me to really enjoy it. But I definitely was not a fan of it the first time. And I didn't really understand why people were. Now, a lot of that has changed my opinion, which is old now compared because I watched it when it first came out.
So did I.
And I haven't seen it since, and I just watched it now, so we're talking years from now, and I have a better appreciation for it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Soska Sisters. I really do like them. I love how involved they are with the horror community, how they are abrasive and just straight up fucking badass. Fucking,
babes.
Yeah, like they're just badass in general. Like they just, I don't know what it is about them. I like them, period. But the second time, I really got into it a little bit more. The third act kind of drags a little bit, and it gets a little confusing with itself, I think. But whereas like the first and the second act of this movie are really good. Watching Mary become that strong, sort of independent woman who happenstance falls into this job of being a like black market surgeon for modification and stuff is kind of interesting. And as you know, we both know quite a few people in the modification world. I'm not going to drop names, but we know quite a few people who do a lot of stuff, like implants, like all the different things. Now, this is obviously an exaggerated case of modification, of body modification. But some of that was part of the problem that I didn't like about it when I first saw it. It's because of how much I knew about it. it bothered me the first time I watched it, but the second time I kind of let go of that.
That's so funny though. I had the same issue.
Really? Okay.
Because I didn't think. Okay, when I first.
But they do a good job. The second time I
Really?
watched it, I was paying attention to that, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, I think I was being a little critical.
Right, and I felt the same. And I honestly, I think at the time when I first saw it, I was 22, and I was
Right.
like way more heavily involved in like the whole like body modification like
And,
world. Like
yeah.
whatever that fucking website was, like they're bodymod.com or something.
Oh, I forget what it
bodymod.org or
was called
whatever.
in the movie.
And the one of the founders of that passed away a couple years ago. But not the one in the movie, but the actual one. Like there was an actual like huge fucking community, and I was on it, and I used to do like artistic cutting and like all kinds of like crazy shit. But I never got too involved further past like my millions and millions of piercings and
Sure.
tattoos and like plate piercings and stuff like that. But I never went, to
Yeah,
the
I thi-
extreme. But
I think what it was that I had problem with is that Catherine Isabel I liked her performance a lot. I did, especially the second time. But there was like a little moment right there when she kicked the guy out for wanting the piercing or
It
whatever.
pissed me off a
They
little
kind of
bit,
pissed me
yeah.
off a little bit because I was like, didn't you just cut that girl's tongue? That is as practical to me. Cutting someone's tongue is as practical as giving someone a piercing in a way.
to now though.
Now, yeah.
But like when this first came out, it wasn't.
Yeah, they were tackling a lot of different things.
Yeah, that like tongue splitting was not nearly as popular. I only knew like
I knew quite a few people.
A
I know
handful of people?
like at least
now I know a
7
lot.
people, like at
Yeah.
least.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Making out with somebody with split tongue is
Right,
fucking
yeah.
magical.
Which I've done before. It is weird.
magic.
It's like 2 different tongues in your face.
It's magic. I love it.
I'm sure it's magic for other things too, but I didn't
is.
experience
It
that.
is also magic.
The characters in this movie I did really like, actually. I thought they were very interesting. I liked to follow them along, including the Soska Sisters, which I really liked their performance, especially the second time. They had an aesthetic about all the different characters that really, I think, served the film really well. Although some of the acting was a little spotty at times, so I was a little taken out of it a little bit, but there are some strong performances in there. It's just minor stuff that, I don't know how to explain it, but there's definitely a lot of, male versus female social, ethical sort of dialogue going on in this movie that I think is probably more prevalent today than it was back then. So they were kind of ahead of the curve a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't think it came across as preachy by any means. Like as a male, you know what I mean? Some of those guys always like try to say shit like that, but I think it was pretty prevalent.
yeah, and there was a little bit of a theme.
Well, so much has changed in 5 years, dude.
Yes, but when this was released at, I believe it was Screamfest in 2012.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the nickname for that year's Screamfest was like Rape Fest.
Oh.
Because
Yeah, because the scene.
not because of them.
Yeah.
But like almost every single horror movie that was released that year that aired at Screamfest had a fucking gratuitous rape scene in it.
Okay.
And that was one of their big concerns when it came time for them to premiere their movie, was because as soon as that scene starts to set up, they hear the audience kind of groan and sound frustrated.
Right, because it's like a little fatigue.
And immediately they're like, fuck, we lost them. Like, we lost the fucking audience. But how they handled that scene
Yeah, no, yeah.
is incredible.
Sure.
And that's one thing that I definitely want to give them credit for is
Sure.
I am one of the biggest non-supporters of gratuitous fucking rape scenes in movies.
Right.
I fucking hate it. I feel like there's not a place for it 99% of the time, and it's just super fucking frustrating to me, and I feel like you can build a story without that.
I actually do appreciate how they handled it.
Yeah.
And what better type of person to tell that story than 2 strong sisters,
women.
twin sisters who are women, to be able to tell that. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was I thought it was done tastefully, and it's just enough to make you angry as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
For what may happen to that person. So I was pleased with that. I think it's definitely an enjoyable film, but it didn't push me too far into fandom. Just a little bit more than I did last time. I think that they definitely have good skills. I get like notes of like Audition by Takashi Miike.
Which one of the twins specifically?
Oh, really? You see, I didn't even know that because I didn't do
Absolutely
the research for this one.
Loves him.
Yeah, I got that loud and clear. I even got some tones of Cronenberg. Like,
Yep.
I believe that even in the Dead Ringers movie, they wear red schmocks or red surgery outfits, which I think is a nod to Cronenberg. That's just my personal thing. I don't know. I didn't read anything about it. But it would make a lot of sense because they're going to be the directors for Cronenberg's Rabid remake, which I'm super interested to see how it turns out.
Same.
Plus, I mean, they are twins, so Dead Ringers is all about twins, so it would make perfect sense. But yeah, with that said, I mean, I definitely enjoyed this movie a lot more than I did the first time. I have a better appreciation for it. And I don't know if that's because I'm much more aware of certain things now than I was 5 years ago. You know, being a guy, I'm probably, 5 years ago is a long time for what has occurred in society. Like, not saying that I was a douchebag or anything, but I'm probably a lot more aware of things, you know what
Everybody
I mean?
is.
You know? I think everybody is, for the better or worse.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that, for me, I almost had, like, the reverse.
Oh,
appreciation
reverse.
to
Oh, go
you.
on. Tell.
So, like, where you didn't like it so much when you first saw it, I really liked it when I first saw it. And then rewatching it a couple years, which I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But rewatching it again this last time, the other day, I didn't have the same appreciation for it as I used to.
Okay.
But I think it's just because that's probably something that's been so fucking beaten out of me at this point that I
What do you mean in particular?
like that whole kind of like the situation in particular that she deals with and it's great.
Just
because,
say it. I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean,
well, I mean, it's
it's
kind
probably
of,
good that people know that this is in there, just so that they.
Yeah, well, you definitely should know because it very quickly turns into this whole like rape revenge story.
Right.
Very, very quickly, and it almost kind of seems not necessary to the story here, but the same can be argued that it is necessary because of why she snaps and goes the direction that she does is because of that. But at the same time, it's kind of like they could have ran with what they were doing without doing that. However, that's just kind of my take on it. And I think that now I'm just so much more aware of how I feel about situations like that and how that's impacted women in society and everything. And then how much it's just fucking overdone in
Right.
horror movies, period.
It really
But-
is, but in the same respect, it's like, when we've had this conversation, and I don't want to compare it because it's a dog or a cat or whatever it is. Like, whatever you can relate to is going to hit you a little bit harder.
For sure.
So I'm sure that this, I think the situation of rape is definitely going to hit someone who has been raped, probably women more than men, but it does happen to men too.
For sure.
But in the same respect, it's like, I think the people that have experienced it or have been in creepy situations, it's definitely going to resonate with. But even people who haven't, it's just kind of hard to sit. But I think they did it really well here.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No. Go ahead. I was just going to say that basically the dog, like a dog getting killed or something like that, kind of a weird example. I'm not saying it's a perfect parallel example. It is like, have you ever seen John Wick?
Yeah, I refused to watch that movie
Right.
because I knew what happened.
But
But
see,
I've seen it since.
But yeah, okay. See, here's the really interesting thing: the dialogue that I had with Christina about this. She was like, "Nope, I'm fucking done.
That was me.
out. I'm done."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Baby, no." I was like, "You don't understand. The dog dying is going to make you enjoy every motherfucker that's dying."
It's pivotal.
Yeah, from here on out.
For sure.
And she stuck through it, and she was like, "You were right." And so I think, there's something to be said. You sometimes are going to see things that you do not want to see, but it will push your emotions into understanding it. Did they pull that off in this movie? How do you feel about that?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like for the most part they do.
Okay. Not as well as you'd hoped.
It's kind of hard to give him a full yes on that. It's kind of like a yes and no because the story, again, like, really switches at the end. Like,
Okay.
they throw a fucking curveball at you in the end. Even though in her situation, she's supposed to be drugged, but she's still fully aware of what's going on and what's happening to her. She just can't do anything to fix it.
I don't mean that specific. I'm saying later on.
Oh, no, oh, yeah.
I'm not talking about that anymore. I'm saying later on in the third act, she becomes so, like, void of emotion.
Oh, that's exactly how it happens.
Like,
To
okay.
some people. Everybody handles things differently. So, like, for me, I think that's what I liked so much about it was because that's how I was
Right.
for a long time.
Right. And it was
very
kind of a
long
short
time.
period of time, but I don't know what the time frame was for it. So.
Yeah, it was probably give or take a couple months to a year-ish.
Okay.
I would guess timeline-wise for that, but
Well, and
maybe
maybe they were trying to make a play on the fact that the only time that she actually felt alive and had emotion is when she was performing on these. Yeah. So.
Right. So I don't know. I felt like with that they did a really good job. One of the things that I loved so much, and we've talked about how they handled that scene in particular, where she gets assaulted by her professor, is that they gave all the power to her in that scene because they primarily focus just on her face and her eyes. And you can
hear noises and stuff.
Right, but that's what makes that scene so powerful and so frightening because you're tuned into her and how she's feeling, and she sells it. And she does a great... Catherine Isabel does a fucking phenomenal job, and it's not easy to do scenes like that.
Right.
You know, and she did a really, really great job like portraying that, and hopefully she's never had to go through a situation like that before, but I feel like most fucking Hollywood starlets have at this point, which is really sad. But, you know, she does a good job. They wrote it super well, and they got a lot of notes, which is so fucked up when they were first like showing the scene when they first like shot it and trying to figure out exactly how they were going to play it out. They got a lot of notes, and they were like, well, when are her tits going to pop out? Like, her tits need to pop out. When are they going to fucking show her tits or whatever?
Oh,
and
you're saying from the audience, the people that watched.
people who watched it, they were giving notes on the movie, and they're just like, fuck you, like, never. Like, we're not going to show her fucking tits, because one of the things that they talk about specifically is that they feel that rape scenes in particular are put into movies to appease men.
Okay.
To be interesting and appealing to men or the male viewers.
I mean, I could definitely see that. I'm not one of those people, so it's hard for me to kind of understand.
And that's like a lot of guys are going to take offense to hearing that, but
right.
And at the same time,
I know some people that do, yeah. But I've been accused just for liking horror.
Yeah.
That I am a closet
rapist.
Yeah, like I had a guy tell me that, and I was like, dude, what?
It's the whole fucking...
Like, he's like, you get off on stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I do not.
Yeah.
I was like, it is not real, okay? And I don't get excited when I watch it. I get, like, uncomfortable, and it's awkward.
Oh, it's
and,
awful.
Yeah, like, it's not like something I get excited for, but if it builds... It definitely has to be prevalent. The only one movie that I saw that really did not do it justice was... And this was, like, a 15-minute rape scene, was the movie Irreversible.
Yeah.
And that one, I mean, there's things in that movie that I like. That is not one of them.
Right.
I understand why they put it in there, but it really... None of the violence in the movie didn't even make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was almost like just violence for violence sake. It is probably one of the craziest head-crushing scenes I've ever seen, and probably the longest rape scene ever made.
It's long.
Yeah, it's long.
Uncomfortably long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very specific on the fact that they don't want their scene and how they handled it to be something that people fast forward to.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and they talk about Cannibal Holocaust, actually, in a reference.
Really? With the Rock?
They're talking, in general, they're just talking about gratuitous rape scenes that are just pointless, that are just thrown in just because, and they don't serve any point or purpose to the movie. And they bring up Cannibal Holocaust, and what's really cute is Catherine Isabel in this interview is like, what? Like, what? They're talking about the actual, like, people killing actual animals, and then these, like, rape scenes in this movie. And Catherine Isabel's never heard of this movie, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? Like,
well,
she like freaks out, and they're just like, oh, honey, like, you don't want to know about this film. Like, trust me, like, you don't want to watch it. And they were like, it's very important to them to not have that kind of film.
It's a piece of history. I don't really get it. Like, it's not a movie I get like Cannibal Holocaust.
Like
Huh?
They don't like it at all. And then there's a lot of people who don't.
No, it is appalling. It puts me into a perspective of like I watched, okay, here's an example. I watched this documentary called Haunters, and it's really fascinating because it's all about haunt places, like people who throw up, like, you know, haunted houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they do.
I
almost didn't watch it because I watched that other one that's on Shudder. It's called I forget what it is, but it's in like New Zealand or Australia or something. And it's a really good documentary. But I just had my fill on haunted, you know, houses, like documentaries, and so I was like really skeptical about watching it. But you get into this like world of like extreme haunts. And even the Soska Sisters are in this fight, by the way. And they even talk about it. So it's interesting correlation. Like, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, they talk about this one place called McKinney Manor. And man, dude, like people literally sign away like their lives almost. Like I was watching people coming out when I first started watching it. Christina had already watched like 20 minutes in, and I started watching it and I was like, I was laughing because people were screaming. I was like, it's just a haunted house, right?
No, that's one of them where you're completely immersed in a actual
torture
chamber.
Yeah,
yeah. That's
like
one
they
of
put your head underwater.
Oh yeah, that's one of the top. There's 5 of them in that they've done stories on that I've watched, and that's always within the top like 2.
I've seen the guy that runs that thing, but they were talking about it. They were talking about 13th, not 13th floor, but it was like the 13th something, and then there was another one called Blackout, and then this one was McKinney Manor.
That one's yeah.
Dude, and like what the reason I brought this up is because it's a point on what people are willing to put themselves through,
right,
in order to, I don't know, like peer into this fucked up world.
Yeah, I don't. To me, and I've talked about this before actually, which is funny. When they first released this article about the top like 5 haunts that are actually immersive haunts,
right, where you can get touched and
where
stuff.
People pay like $200 a ticket to get their fucking heads pushed underwater and blood and
not this one.
Fucking
this one is
thrown at
for
them.
a bag of dog food. That's how much it costs.
Really?
Yeah, one bag of dog food
that
they donate to this.
Yeah,
like,
they all function differently, of course.
Right.
But
some of them are more. Yeah, some of them are for profit.
Crazy expensive, and I'm like, okay. You're paying like I don't understand personally why anyone wants to pay money to get tortured.
Well, the interesting thing that I was fascinated by this because there's a correlation here because I'm not talking about rape. I'm just talking about anything that's like disturbing to people in general. Like putting yourself into that gladiatorial sort of realm of watching it is like making you feel alive in some weird way. Yes, there are some people that could take it too far, and etc. But this one, it's like this guy, like the people who were being put through this haunted house, and this is like 2 to 4 hours, guys.
Yeah.
2 to 4 hours of these people not degrading you. They don't yell at you and cuss at you and all this other stuff, but it is borderline fucking illegal.
Not in that one.
Like the only reason they can get away with it is because the wife of this guy is a kick-ass lawyer apparently, and people want to do it. The people were asking him, "Would you go through it?" He was like, "Fuck no, I'm not stupid."
Right?
But there are people that want to test themselves to put themselves through these situations, so that correlation of seeing something so disturbing is like a microburst of that kind of situation.
Totally get it.
These people were really like mentally scarred from this shit.
For sure.
Like people were coming out and they were like, "You are fucking sick." But some of those people that were freaking out, they don't even have a safe word, by the way, like these other places. This place, when they were all done, they were so high on it that a lot of the people that went through it want to be people who work at it.
Oh, I would totally be someone who work at it all day, every day.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Which that probably says something about me personally.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's how there's a very primal part of our brain.
Oh, for sure.
Somewhere that likes to dip into that world a little bit. And I think, I don't know. Say what you will about horror fans. It doesn't mean, I personally don't think that makes you, I mean, if you're jerking off to the scene, yeah, maybe that's a little fucking, a little too a little too far.
You're gross.
Yeah.
You're fucking gross.
I mean, I won't judge as long as you're not fucking hurting people and you're doing it in your own privacy, like whatever. But
I will judge you.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, I'm just trying to make a correlation here that sometimes it could be, but I don't think American Mary is that crazy.
Not at all.
Like, I don't think it's like this is an extreme, but it's just a topic that came up because of the rape situation.
Well, in the time that this was released, with all these other films that were coming out that all of them had rape scenes in them,
right,
and violent,
right,
gratuitous, and that's why they were complimented so heavily at the end. They're like, and it sounds so crazy to be like, your rape scene was the best rape scene, like. Well, thanks, like, appreciate it.
Hey,
but,
high five.
They handled theirs with fucking class and dignity as best as you can with any scene like that. So, and then it's really cool because to me anyway, you can really see where she just breaks.
Right.
And that's fucking prime acting to me. Like, she kills that fucking scene, and she does such a good job, and it's just awesome. But
well, before we get into too many spoilers, let's talk about some of the trivia, because it sounds like there's some pretty interesting shit about this.
Yeah. One of the things that I found actually really interesting was that the Soska Sisters' parents remortgaged their house.
Really?
In order for them to raise the money to finance the movie.
Wow.
Both their parents actually have cameos in the film, too. I didn't catch who they played,
Huh.
but they remortgaged their fucking house in order to put up the money to help them finance this movie, which I thought was super cool.
That's amazing parents, by the way.
That is amazing parents. It only took them 15 days to shoot it, which is also astonishing to me because there's a lot of complex work in this film, and there's a lot of, I mean, I guess there's not a lot of scenery changes, but there is at the same time. I don't know.
They do a good job.
I feel like 15 days is really short, and all of their special effects were all done practically. And this I thought was super cool, being a person who does makeup effects. Both Tristan Risk and Paula Lindbergh, who plays Ruby Real Girl,
Okay.
their facial prosthetic makeup only took them 2 hours to apply, which I was like, it's pretty fast.
Good, yeah.
But it was probably a really big piece of like
Right over the face.
prosthetic.
And they just faded it in.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there's some wrinkling in some parts in there that it's not really the most pristine
I
work.
didn't notice anything on my end.
Yeah, I do, but for the most part, I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, they look really good.
Yeah.
You know, and they look like the characters pretty much that they're supposed to be portraying. You know, and a lot of the effects are fantastic.
Right.
You know, they really do a good job. It's pretty impressive. There's a lot of stuff that they do. They actually wrote the character of Mary Mason with Catherine Isabel in mind because they're both huge fans of her.
Okay.
And Ginger Snaps in particular.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is it Ginger Snaps? Because that's the
Course.
movie everybody fell in love with her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why everybody fucking loves her. And especially, she doesn't do a lot of
She's a strong
stuff.
actress. That was
She is.
yeah, I mean.
She's a very strong actress. She does a lot of independent films in like low budget, like
Yeah, and
work.
she did Freddy vs. Jason.
So yeah, but she picks a lot of roles in particular that kind of showcase her skills essentially, and she doesn't act to be this crazy starlet. You know?
I haven't
That's what I
seen
like
all of
so
her
much about
stuff,
her.
but she doesn't just exclusively do horror.
She
so,
doesn't,
yeah.
and as nobody has. Like if you've seen all of her stuff, then you're like the biggest mega fan in the world.
Right? Yeah, I
is
saw
great.
some other movie she did after this. It was called 88 or something. I didn't.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So another thing that I really loved and appreciated about this movie too was that most, if not all, of the actors that they used to portray the people that were getting the modifications
Right.
in the movie were actual members of the body modification
Oh
community.
no, I totally. When they were taking the pictures of them,
Yeah,
that's
and
totally.
They all are actually people that are involved in it.
Right, okay.
Heavily. And, you know, whether it's apparent to you or not, like those people, that's them. Like that's who they are. That's what they've done to their body. That's what they choose. And I loved that. I thought that was really cool because to me, this is a very positive body mod movie, which I really, really loved because there's another movie where they delve a little bit into the body modification world, which isn't as well received as
Oh really?
as people like, you know, I don't know, it kind of takes a weird turn. I personally really like this movie, like Strangeland, but a lot of people fucking don't, and so they go into they take a weird turn to the body mod community with that movie too. And
It's funny. One of our
But it's
listeners
negative.
actually suggested that we do.
we
that
should
one.
because I really like that movie.
Yeah, but
actually,
we'll have to wait because this is Women in
We're only
Horror
on next
Month,
month.
So yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Captain Howdy, Jesus Christ, I loved that movie, but that was not so much of a positive light that was shed on the body mod community, whereas this one it is.
Right.
It's really cool what they do. One last thing that I thought was really cool. There is one song that particularly you'll notice plays throughout the film. It plays in the beginning and towards the middle and towards the end, and it's Ave Maria.
Oh yeah.
Which,
When she's sewing and stuff.
which
like
yeah,
she's
which actually
sutures.
translates to Hail Mary. But the song is played 3 times particularly throughout the entire film with increasing levels of skill. So if you notice when it first plays, it's at an amateur level playing in the beginning
Oh, interesting.
when she's a student, and then at an intermediate level, and then at a professional recording at the end.
Yeah.
So the increasing complexity of the song obviously mirrors Mary's development as a surgeon.
Yeah.
So it starts as like a, you know, it's really cool. It's like the crescendos into this like fantastic, like beautifully recorded orchestra of this song. And this is when she's reached like the prime of her skill level.
Right.
So it's really interesting. I caught on to that, but a lot of people don't.
I didn't catch on to
gotta
that
tell
either,
you
but
guys, this is cool.
But I didn't. I also had to listen with our white noise machine going next to the bed because Christina was
she
sleeping.
was sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had it on the TV, and I kind of had to keep it at a level that was like, you know, not blaring
Minimum.
in her fucking ears.
Right. So, yeah, Yeah.
I have a few scenes that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
There were some that really kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Like, I think there was like subtle nuances, like nuanced things that were going on when she first goes to the party. It's not necessarily a favorite scene, quote unquote, but there was like some really like, ew.
All this weird shit going on.
Yeah,
in the background.
like they had that girl laying on the table or on the
kitchen
bar.
table.
Yeah, and
The
then
kitchen
like
counter.
Yeah, and then as she's walking by, I'm like, oh my god, those guys are jerking.
They're all
off.
jerking off. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like I was like trying to figure out what they were doing, but I was also trying to listen to what she was doing. But then I was like, oh yeah, they're definitely jerking off right now. And then it gets even more creeper after, clearly. But again, it develops it so that you really enjoyed that guy getting hurt.
Oh fuck yeah!
I wish they would have showed.
Everybody
more of that.
hates that fucking guy from the beginning, anyways. Like from the get, you don't fucking like him. And to me, I'm just like, what fucking professor talks to their student like that? In what fucking world does a professor talk to their student like that?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure your ass will get fired. Well, unless he has tenure, and then he's not going to get fired. But like,
Right.
what the fuck? Like,
I don't know. I didn't like his character at all, and I don't know. I mean, it's
didn't
not
like
that I
him.
didn't like his character. Maybe he just did it so well that you know what I mean?
I didn't like. Yeah, well, I mean, and like you said, it just could be the acting that makes you not like the character. But
Right.
yeah, I wasn't sold on him at all. He's my least favorite, and not just because of that, but it just him in general. Like I just wasn't sold on his character at all. I don't like him, and I don't like Billy.
Oh, which one's Billy?
Antonio Cupo, I believe is his name.
I don't remember
The club owner.
Oh yeah, there was some
Antonio Cupo.
spotty acting with the two of them a little bit. I didn't.
They
That
don't
was
jive well.
It didn't jive as well as it should have.
Yeah.
Like there was this back and forth between them, and you could tell that he really liked her, but in the same respect, he was like this misogynist guy.
Yeah, I don't believe his interest in her.
It didn't make sense. I know that he was obsessed with her, and she didn't really give him the time of day. But she does like kill that chick, which I'm like,
No, she didn't kill her.
well, she's about to.
She goes
you
to
think.
attack. Yeah, and
Sorry.
that confused the shit out of me too. Like that's one part that I don't remember
Well,
when I
she's
first
smart.
watched it. And that was a scene, like I don't remember that when I first watched the movie. I don't remember it the second time I watched the movie. And then this last time I was like, that's so stupid. Like, but at the same time, it's kind of cool because she's starting to actually like have real human emotions and feelings.
It just didn't make sense to me. I didn't connect the dots. Like maybe she just appreciated him professionally, and somehow she became interested in him because it was the last bastion of like her emotion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like she finally felt.
It was like the straw that broke the camel's back,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
it's almost like she finally felt like, because she was going to him with the intention of being with him in a romantic sense.
I don't know if I got that though.
That's
where
how I
was-
perceive it. Because she
Sure,
puts
no.
on-
I get that's what they were trying to push
for sure.
but I don't think it was delivered well. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I totally
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
Like, well, I caught it completely, and I was like, okay, because she puts on that cute dress. She's like caring about how she looks. She's going specifically to go try and find him.
She seems so disinterested in him though.
Exactly, and that's why I didn't get the turn. So I
Yeah.
see what you're saying, because I didn't understand the turn in her in that, because it didn't really.
She seemed closer to the bouncer than him.
Right. It didn't really seem.
But that was more of a friendly, fatherly sort of thing.
Exactly. So I don't know. I didn't get why all of a sudden she had this interest in him, or was going to show this interest in him.
Yeah.
Like, that turn didn't make sense to me in particular either. So I
Yeah.
understand that. But I think that they're trying to make it.
That's why I say the third act.
Yeah, they're
It's
trying to
something weird
build
about
something there, I
Right.
feel like.
Like it
and
was more poetic than it really was.
Yeah,
That's what I felt like I was missing it.
could it have been done better with a little more time, maybe? Yes.
Maybe
But-
that's what it was. Like I did out of that whole fucking scene though, where she attacks the girl and like she's like wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong dick in your mouth, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Great.
But it just didn't make sense because she's become this strong and powerful thing.
Why she care?
Yeah, why would she care? And like that's why I guess it's this last bastion of hope for her humanity, I guess.
So if the Twisted Twins are listening, which would be super awesome, please
Yeah.
explain that to us.
I'm
'cause
just
that would be
curious.
so
It's not.
cool.
It didn't ruin the movie for me.
It didn't bode well. It didn't
just
jive. It
It
didn't
just
work.
didn't. I don't know. Yeah.
It was kind of jumbly.
I can't lie.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to lie either. So it's like I'm with you on that. But I will also say that's one of my favorite scenes, though. But not because of what happened, like what she does to the girl or why or whatever. But the lighting on her.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit! When she's getting all the shit out of her purse and just like throwing it down on the bathroom counter, and you're looking from the girl's perspective
through
in the
crack.
stall through the crack staring at her, and then she just kind of like puts her gloves on and she just subtly like turns and she's like looking through the stall, and how the lighting is hitting her.
Right.
It's like this weird like neon red and purple and blue hues, and it keeps cutting in and out, and it looks so visually fucking stunning. Like, it's visceral. It's so fucking cool. Like, that kind of stuff I fucking live for.
Yeah.
And they shot that perfectly, and they build up tension really, really well in that scene. So like because they put you in the perspective of the girl in the stall seeing this shit happen.
Yeah, she was like, really, I like how
cool.
afterwards she was kind of like, yeah, my mistake. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You
And
understand.
She goes out and she just pats her on the shoulder, and this poor girl's like trying not to fucking puke.
Yeah.
She's like, I almost fucking got a scalpel in my neck. Like, and she just like, you get it.
Just before that,
fine.
There was a conversation that she had with Lance, the bouncer guy.
I love that.
I love that part too. I don't know why, but it's like he's just so comfy and casual, and you know that these people are not good people. But it's like, I don't know, there's something about it. He buys her that food, and he's like, I got you an array of things.
Some options.
Yeah, some options. But it's something about how he says that little story about feeling bad about whether or not she should be doing what she does. She was like, it affects me, you know, like,
yes, it affects me.
yeah, like I'm not completely soulless.
I have a heart, you know.
Yeah, like she's like almost like she's questioning herself. Mm-hmm. But then it's like it's so comfy and casual, so kind of, I don't know, it's like it's a little confusing, but I really like that scene. I don't know what it is.
Like, to me, that is one of my favorite scenes.
Is that a milkshake?
Yeah, it was. I lost my shit. It was so. She's like, "Is that a milkshake?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got chocolate and vanilla." And he goes, "You don't strike me as a vanilla," and pushes the chocolate towards her. And she takes it and she starts drinking it. And then this was just I don't even know if she just like ad-libbed this, which I kind of feel like she did, and I hope she did, because that would be even cuter to me.
Right.
But she's just like, it's good. And then she does this cute little smile and she goes,
yeah, it's almost
and
like,
then like keeps drinking it, and I was like, oh my god, she's the cutest fucking thing. I already love her. I got so excited I'm hitting my microphone. I already love her. I have the biggest fucking girl crush on her ever. But like in that moment, I fell even more in love with her as an actress, because I'm like, you're so cute. You sell that milkshake, girl.
it's like this like
Sell it.
hangnail of innocence left.
Exactly. And that was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really loved that part, because whether that was written in the script or she ad-libbed that shit, that was fucking pivotal. Like, she needed to throw that in there, and that sounds so stupid, and a lot of people are going to think that sounds so dumb.
No, it is weird that I kept thinking to myself, like, why do I like this so much?
It's like she still has something there.
Yeah, I just felt like that was really a really good scene.
It was cool.
I liked. You never really hear from him. He's just the
he's
the
great.
beast. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was really good.
He's
I
the
really
muscle.
and the two of them and the conversation, the story he tells about his mother and how he wished she was around at the time so he could like really torture
Not
some
what
people.
I wouldn't give to have known you.
He's
back
like,
then.
what you're doing is good, Mary.
Yeah.
You know, don't you
let-
ever forget that.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Don't let these people fucking get you down or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so cute, and it just shows that she still has that little shred of humanity left in her, and she's not completely lost.
I guess, but then she does lose it, sorta.
She does, but meh,
So
whatever.
I mean,
she's so fucking cute.
I guess the only other scene. Do you have any other scenes that you want to bring up or talk about?
Oh yeah, the end.
Oh, I don't know if we should spoil the end for people listening. Just
I don't
in
want
case.
to, because it takes such a big fucking turn.
Right.
But again, I will say though, again, just based on artistically and styling, I love it. I love her being in that fucking white dress.
I feel like there was poetry happening there, but I just didn't.
Oh, there
I don't
was.
know if I grabbed on to what it was.
There was. It was beautiful.
Is it like that? And like, I don't want to get into it too much and describe it too much, but is it kind of like that Walter White moment where, you know, the Breaking Bad, you know, how that kind of ends, like
I haven't seen Breaking Bad.
sort of dying, or you know what I mean, like laying around your instruments, sort of.
I feel they definitely went for a poetic feel with that. I mean, to me it feels like it. Whether they actually did it that way or not, I don't know. But to me it feels that way, you know, because she goes out doing what she loves.
Right.
And she doesn't lose herself in the end, even though she knows that's it for her. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I don't know. She still tries to like save herself or whatever, and it was really cool. And then again, the styling for it was fucking perfect,
Right.
on point.
In a
Visually
way,
and artistically, it was just.
and I'm not a
completely stunning.
filmmaker, but I have seen a lot of films, and my particular opinion is my particular opinion. But I feel like, I think this is a good movie for them, but I don't think it's their one.
No.
I think it's a stepping stone, and I think they're going to get better and better even more as they go.
This is
Definitely,
for them.
yeah.
This is kind of for them just being like, look, this is what we can do with some money. Like when we finally have some money
Yeah,
to
they did a
to
good
back
job.
up what we want to do. If you've seen Dead Hooker in a Trunk, which is fucking excellent. That is a cult classic at this point, and it's going to continue to be one. And it's just watch it if you haven't.
I haven't seen it.
It's a cool flick. It's interesting, and it's so vastly different in comparison between the two movies. They put a lot of love and a lot of effort and a lot of work into this movie, and I will not ever fault them for that. Yes, it had its flaws, but do I agree with some of these people saying that it's pure shit? Absolutely not.
No. I like it.
Absolutely
You
not.
mean people are saying it's garbage?
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of mixed reviews on this movie, and there's a lot of people that receive it very positively. There's people that are kind of in the middle, and then there's a lot of people that think it's fucking terrible.
I didn't think it was
And-
terrible the first
No.
time I saw it. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we said, it's not a perfect movie, but it's done relatively fucking well.
Right.
They did a phenomenal job. I'm picking up what they're trying to put down with this movie. I really enjoyed it. I really hope they fucking come to Mad Monster this year in Phoenix, because I know they're going to the Mad Monster in, I believe, South Carolina, and I really hope they come to the one in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you're listening, please come to Mad Monster in Phoenix. I'm going to be there, and I'll be performing there, and I would really fucking love to meet you.
Yeah, I would too.
And so would Alex, so yeah, duh, you're going to be there too. Please come to Mad Monster Phoenix. You will not regret it. Yes, it's fucking disgustingly hot, but we have a really cool convention out here too, and really fucking cool people that come, and really amazing people that want to meet you just as badly as I do, and I want to meet you more than them, despite what everybody else says. So, like I said, I was going to fangirl out at some point.
You
and
are totally
this is me
yeah.
fangirling right now because I love them to fucking little bitty broken black-hearted pieces. They're so
yeah, no,
adorable.
I like I said, I enjoy them more probably than I
so
have. I haven't
funny.
seen all their movies, so I can't say that.
They're
But
they're just entertaining little ladies.
well, they're just big fans. You can tell. You could just tell.
Yes, they know their shit, and I fucking love that. Like I don't know, they're fucking awesome. Come to Mad Monster Phoenix, please. It's the last time I'm gonna say it, maybe.
Well, we do have another movie that I did the work on, and this one is it's called May, and
Yay!
it came out in 2002. It was kind of took a little while to get big. It only had a few
while.
releasings in certain places, but it came out in 2002. I consider this to be one of the movies that is kind of like the end of the grunge and alternative era, so where
Yeah.
it was dying down, I guess you could say. But it's still one of those alternative films, I guess you could call it.
It's like the Nirvana of film.
Right, in a horror sense, though.
A
Yeah.
Nirvana horror film. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The story of this movie, a lonely young woman traumatized by a difficult childhood and her increasingly desperate attempts to connect with people around her, is sent into a murderous tailspin. I don't know what that is.
Jesus.
Is that like a horn?
I don't know, Alex.
Uh,
I'm not your brain.
Director and writer Lucky McKee directed this movie, and he's also done movies like The Woman, All Cheerleaders Die. He did a short in Tales of Halloween, and some other ones, some other shorts and stuff like that. He seems to be very woman-centric with a lot of the stuff that he does, even though The Woman is kind of offensive to some people, but she does get her due, her just desserts at the end. It's pretty, like, the guy in the movie is really like, ugh.
Adam's character?
No, I'm talking about in The Woman.
Oh, and the woman. I'm sorry.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I was like, what the fuck are you talking? I was like, I was thinking, what are you talking about?
No,
Like,
there's a movie called The Woman.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and it was supposed to be, there were supposed to be sequels because apparently it's based off a book, but he did that movie. It's kind of controversial. I own All Cheerleaders Must Die, or All Cheerleaders Die, which he did two versions. He did, his first feature film was All Cheerleaders Die, and then he also did All Cheerleaders Die, an updated version just a few years ago, which I think I got in like a a horror pack or something. Some of the cast in this movie starring Angela Bettis, who plays May. She was in Girl Interrupted, Bless the Child, remake of The Toolbox Murderers, and she was also in The Woman. Also, another actor in the movie was Jeremy Sisto. He plays Adam Stubbs, who he was in the first movie I knew who he was in Wrong Turn.
Right.
He was also in the movie called The Other Side of the Door. He was in a TV show called 6 Feet Under, which was pretty popular.
Just a little show called 6 Feet Under.
He was in Clueless and Suicide Kings as well, and you said
and
Law
also
Order.
just a little show called Law and Order.
Yeah, but I don't think he was in it for a long period.
He was.
Really?
He was in it for a couple seasons.
Huh.
Pretty sure.
I looked it up, but I didn't see it. Maybe
Could
I
be
just
wrong.
missed it. Anna Faris was also in this movie. She plays Polly. She was in all the scary movies for the most part, except for the tail end, too. She was also in Waiting, Observe and Report, Take Me Home Tonight, Movie 43, and the remake of the 1987 movie that's coming out called Overboard,
I love Anna Faris so much.
which I thought was really interesting.
much.
Have you ever seen the movie Overboard?
No.
Kurt Russell and his wife were in it. It's what's her name? But it's basically about this rich girl who this guy who works on the boat, she falls overboard and has amnesia, and he tells her they're married and all this other stuff. Well, they flip the roles. Now Anna Faris is the Kurt Russell character, and the woman is this other random guy.
Cute.
So he's
haven't
like a
seen that.
really rich guy, and she makes him do all these jobs. She's like, yeah, you have 3 jobs. Like, there's a trailer out. I don't know. I just found it interesting that they're doing a remake of Overboard.
Yeah. She's also in a really awesome movie called The House Bunny, which I need to fucking reference.
I tried to grab most of the...
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I try and grab stuff that, like, makes sense to
I didn't watch
movies we're
The House
talking
Bunny,
about,
first of all.
I like that movie. I like stupid comedies, and it's an Adam Sandler comedy, too. Like a Happy Gilmore production.
Oh, okay.
Or a Happy Madison production, sorry.
James Duvall's also in this movie. He was called Blank. He was the Mohawk kid. Really bad Mohawk.
Want to go get some jujubes with me?
Yeah. He was in Donnie Darko, which I always remember him. He's like, what were you thinking? Being in the road.
I forgot about that.
I don't know why, but every time I think of him, I think of that
Holy
moment.
shit, I forgot about
What
that.
were you thinking?
Oh my god.
He was also in Independence Day, Doom Generation. The
so
same
much
director that did Doom Generation, was in Nowhere. He was also in SLC Punk and the movie Go, which are all pretty similar to one another. The last 4, anyway. Nicole Hiltz was also in this movie. She plays Ambrosia. She was in Dude, Where's My Car?, Austin Powers Goldmember, and Trailer Park of Terror, which was a movie that I need to rewatch. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't remember it being horrible, but I don't remember it being good either. So, also, this movie had a budget of $500,000. It premiered at Sundance Film Festival and 8 theaters in the U.S. only, and it made about $150,000 at the box office for those 8 theaters, which I don't think is that bad.
No.
I'm sure it made a lot more money in distribution and all this other shit too. So, but yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this movie, and why did you pick it, Brittany?
This is one of my favorite movies ever made.
Really?
Plain and simple. I've always loved this movie. I've been a fan of this movie for a very, very, very long time. I think it came out in 2002, right?
Yeah, 2002.
So I think I saw it for the first time probably in...
It probably
when I
didn't
was, like,
release to the public
14.
till 2003, though.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it until like 2004, 2005. So
Okay.
I was like a little one when I first saw it. But I just thought it was fucking incredible. And like almost every other fucking girl, I had a big old crush on Adam.
Yeah.
So, because he's fucking fine.
He's all right.
He's fine. With his fucking curly hair, and he's just adorable. And
In his hands.
I don't give a fuck about his hands. But if they were tattooed, to be a different story. And then I'd be like, all right, I got a fetish for that shit too. But I love so much about this movie because it is so fucking brilliantly done. It's a cool fucking story. It's super unique. It's very different and dark, but it's still fun and lighthearted at the same time. And like you fall in love with each character for different reasons. So like while you have kind of minimal screen time with a lot of the characters, you still are able to develop a a relationship with them. You're still able to build a relationship with these people, you know, and you really like her. You want her to win. Like, you believe in her, and you want her to find love, or want her to find happiness, or want her to make the friend that she wants to make. Like, by the time she starts to lose her shit, you're like, fuck yeah, girl, lose your shit, make your friend, whatever. Especially for when this film came out, it's just done perfect. It's gonna stand the fucking test of time. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I watched it now, and it's just as good as when I watched it when I was 14.
I don't have the same feelings about it as much as you.
This was like
I still like it, though, a whole lot.
It's like a childhood favorite for me, though. So
understandable.
And I got to show it to Mouse for the first time. He'd never seen it.
As I always say, nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
It is. And this is a nostalgia movie for me. So that's one of the reasons why I was like, can we please do May? Because holy balls.
Which, I'll be honest, the two that you picked, I was like, meh.
A lot of people don't know about this movie, which still blows my fucking mind. That people, when I bring up May or mention it, they're like, what? What movie is that? I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, more people know about American Mary than May, which is understandable. It still pisses me the fuck off because I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, watch this fucking movie. It's so cool. You're gonna like it. It's fucking gross.
So you were like 14, 15 when you saw that?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, it makes sense. It's kind of a awkward phase a little bit, you know, when you're growing up, you know.
I'm always awkward.
No, I'm just saying, like, at 14 or 15, you really don't know your bearings into the world yet. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of girls or people in general could relate to that May character because of it.
Oh, for sure.
Because she was, like, picked on. I mean, essentially, the story is about a girl with an eye patch because she has a lazy eye. And so she goes through life by a sheltered mom who doesn't, you know, she doesn't want her to, like, experience the world or get hurt. And so because of that, she becomes kind of like, she has no friends.
Weird.
She doesn't give her any confidence to go out there and do stuff as much as she probably should have. Yeah.
Right. No,
so she becomes socially inept and kind of a sociopath because she doesn't really have that exchange of back and forth other than sadness and sorrow.
Her best friend is a doll.
Yeah.
Guys.
Her mom gives her a doll.
The first doll her mom ever made is what she gives her for her birthday one year when she has no one to come to her birthday party. This is what her mom gives her. When you can't make a friend, or when you can't make a friend, or when you don't have friends, make one, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I made this. This is my first doll ever.
This was my best
And she goes to open it to hold her to, like, show the love to it because she's so happy.
Yeah.
And her mom's like, no, you can't open this. This is special.
She's special. You can't take her out.
Yeah, you're not special enough to touch her, essentially.
So she gives her this, like, stupid fucking creepy doll in a red leather dress behind a glass.
It is
behind
creepy.
glass in a fucking... It is a creepy fucking doll. It's like a creepy porcelain doll
it's like a
glass
Japanese
case.
doll a little bit.
Like, the doll's cool. Like, I want one. But I'm like, that doll is in a purplish red leather dress.
Right.
In a glass case. I'm like, that looks cool. I want one. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, I feel like it makes you feel really extremely uncomfortable for about 80% of the movie. And by the end, you somehow feel excited about her coming to her own. You know, without spoiling too much, I'll just say it definitely picks up by the end. You know what I mean? So just hang in there a little bit. There's some people that just really do not like that kind of uncomfortable feeling of watching this girl fumble folly through her social interactions with people. It's weird.
Yeah, and I get that. It's not for everybody.
No.
It's painfully fucking awkward.
It is really painfully awkward. Like, I mean, and that means she did a really good job.
She's great.
I think Angela Bettis did an amazing job, really. And just switching between that uncomfortable and sort of unnerving weirdness about her. The whole dance with her and the Jeremy Sistos guy, who's the character Adam, is pretty great. Yep. I did like that. I could kind of relate to even his character a little bit because I was the type of person that would see beauty in somebody that was weird too, you know?
Yeah.
Because I felt like an outcast in some way. I think we all have at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening to this podcast, so have you.
So it's like there's something kind of adoring and endearing about her character that makes you kind of want to...
She's adorable.
Just reach out and hug her. But in the same respect, you're also like...
Bitch, you crazy.
Don't stab me. You know?
Bitch, you're crazy, but you're also really cute.
It's definitely leaning towards an indie film more than anything, but it's told really, really well. So the acting and the story is really good, and some of the characters. Anna Faris, you know, this was early on in her career where she was still playing the ditzy type in a way, but she's kind of in control a little bit, but she's ditzy.
She's fantastic.
I
love
did
her
like
as
her in
Polly.
it though. It's probably one of the last few movies from that, like I said, alternative scene, and her in it is kind of weird because I forgot she was in it.
Oh, I didn't.
So it's like
but-
one of those things, you know. But this movie in particular reminded me of Ginger Snaps, Jennifer's Body, kind of those coming of age, coming out of your shell people movies. Because like I thought Anna Faris was going to be the other thing, because it's been a while since I've seen this. I probably saw it a couple of years after it came out, and I think I saw it when it first came out. So it's been a while. It's been 10 years at least.
Anna Faris is just the creepy lesbian,
Right.
and I love it.
Well, it's weird because
She's
like
so funny.
I hated Anna Faris for a while
How can you hate Anna Faris?
because
How can
like,
anyone
Yeah,
hate
but
her?
you don't understand. She always played that ditzy type.
Yeah, but
And
everybody.
I could not handle that. Like, it bothered me. Like, I get it that she was playing a character, but it was done so well, and I never saw her in anything other than a ditzy character. I didn't even think she was acting anymore.
I was like,
thought
she
was
is Scary
just,
Movie.
Right,
Like, that's
exactly.
her. Like, everybody, when you think Anna Faris, you think Scary Movie. Like, or you think Cindy from Scary Movie. Like, everybody
Right.
thinks Cindy. Like, everybody fucking thinks about her. She's fucking great. Like,
She even does it in, what is the movie,
she's-
Observe and Report.
oh, yeah.
She's
What I
kind of ditzy.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
ever.
it's really
Side
good.
note, but except it ruined the fucking Pixies for me, big time. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs, and I'm like, fuck you. Like,
Now that I see her acting and seen her do some actual roles, like it's taken me a little while to get out of it. Observe and Report, even though she does play the ditzy type in there, it was so funny to me
she's great.
that it was just great. And that's when I first like actually started to be okay with her, because I was like, oh my God, this ditzy fucking girl, like, oh, it's driving me. It was like chalk, like fingernails on a chalkboard, dude.
Aw.
I know, like, but then I realized she's just acting, and then I was like, oh, okay, thank God there's not a person like this in real life. But I'm sure there's plenty.
a million
yeah.
people like that in real life. Are you kidding?
Oh, God. There is some pretty interesting trivia. There wasn't a whole lot. This movie is scored as number 17 on Bloody Disgusting's top scary movies of that decade. Because it is pretty unnerving. There's some pretty fucked up parts in it. I thought that was kind of interesting that they put it at that high.
Depends on your definition of what's scary to you. This is not a scary movie to me at all. Yes, it's unnerving and unsettling in some parts, but it isn't scary. But everybody interprets it differently.
When she comes to herself, it's like a complete different, it's like flip.
It's fucking great.
And her character, I always think, like, me and Christina have done this every time I think we watched May sooner than, like, 3-4 years ago, maybe. But we always thought that she was the same chick that was in the VHS movie with the split face.
Oh my God, no.
Because they look kind of
Yeah.
similar. They got these, like, weird, and she has the crossed eye and stuff, and that girl in real life kind of has, like, a weird thing going on with her eye.
Well,
I
yeah,
think.
the actress that plays May actually has a lazy eye.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
No, she actually has a lazy eye, except hers goes the other direction
Yeah,
than
I was-
May's character.
The way she was doing it in the movie, I was like, "Ow, God!"
They
Like they
did-
gave me a brain.
You know how they did that?
Huh?
That's like it's
Contact?
a contact
Yeah.
on top of a contact. So they basically it's like a contact that completely blocks off her eye.
So she was looking straight, and when she
It's
wanted to
normal.
look normal, she had to look to the left.
Yeah, so it's a contact that completely whites out her eye.
Right.
And then it's another contact that gives the illusion of the actual lazy eye pointing the direction
I
that it's
kind
moving.
of had a feeling about that, but I
It's
didn't look
fucking
it
crazy,
up. Yeah.
and it's super fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, I can
crazy
imagine.
amounts of uncomfortable.
Well, sclerals in general
Yeah,
are
sclares
fucking,
are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Speaking of somebody who has worn and wears contacts for costume purposes, like I will not fucking fuck around with scleras anymore because they
Yeah.
fuck that.
Seems pretty
Fuck
uncomfortable. I mean, I wear contacts, and I've slept with them in, and I've had pains, like, you know, with like something gets under my lens.
Yeah.
And it's like really painful, but
I can't even take my own contacts out.
Really?
I make Mouse do it.
Really?
Yeah, I stopped wearing costume contacts for a long time, which in what I do, it's super pivotal to have costume contacts a lot of the time to enhance the look that you're doing. And I scratched the fucking shit out of my eyes so bad once because I refused to cut my nails, and I can't like get them out without
Just thinking
grabbing
about
at them.
Why would you let someone touch your eyes?
No, Mouse does it all the time. He'll wash his hands, and then all I do is I open my eyes and I look straight at him. And I have big, gigantic saucer eyeballs, like they're ridiculous. And he just takes his finger and swipes it and takes it right out. So now I will wear contacts again because he takes them out for me. I put them in myself, but he takes
Dude,
them
that
out for
reminds me of, I just watched Open House recently, and there's a scene in that where the guy's like, somebody's removing somebody's contacts for them, and it just freaked me out. I didn't like it at all.
I don't like anything with eyeballs.
Neither do I. Like, that's why I say, don't touch my eyes, don't come near them.
Which is
don't
weird
touch
to
my
me.
feet, don't touch my
It's the
fucking...
amount of trust that I have in my husband where I allow him to do that, only because I almost fucking, like, completely ruined my eyeballs.
Right.
And I'm like, but I love costume contacts so much. And Mouse is like, I can probably take them out. And then 2 seconds later, boop, boop, done. I'm
real
like,
quick.
you're doing it all the time. And he's like, what did I just do?
Dude, they really, I don't even get into that. Let's just move on to the next subject.
He doesn't even touch my eye, though, just the
It
contact.
freaks me out, dude.
I get that. It freaks a lot of people out.
Every time I open a can of tuna or like a lid that has like the pull up top where you don't have to do the can, like if I pull it, I always picture my eye getting sliced.
Oh, my God.
And
Okay.
it freaks me the fuck out. Like I have to open it away from me because I think about that. There is also a scene in the movie. There's 2 scenes where there's a guy kissing in the elevator with another girl. It's 2 different girls each time, and May gets in the elevator and it's really uncomfortable because she's staring at them, they're staring at her, and they just feel her presence. Well, that's the director, Lucky McKee. So I thought it was interesting because I was watching it, I was like, that girl's like really kind of kissing him.
That was the most uncomfortable shit to me in the entire movie was that
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, you
I'm
hear
like,
his-
oh, God. Gross. I thought it was the same girl. I didn't even realize it's 2 different girls.
Like the whole time, I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I thought it was the same chick.
No, it's 2 different girls, I think. Also, there's a scene. This might be a little spoilery, so I just want to give you a little heads up on this. There's a girl in a cheerleader outfit that asks if May has any cold ones in the case when she cuts people up and puts them in it on Halloween. And that is an ode to the director's first movie, All Cheerleaders Die, which was remade by him too, like I mentioned. But that's actually one of the outfits from it.
So fucking cool.
So I thought that was really cool. Little,
love that.
Little Easter eggs, you know.
I loved that. That was a cool thing to see, honestly, and to catch up on if you caught it or not. But
No, yeah.
it's interesting.
I think like, it's so weird because like when she gets to the point where she's like, oh, I figured it out now. Like I know how to talk and communicate with people. I just had to hear the whole time. But we won't get into the scenes yet. But did you know that I mentioned that Adam's last name is Stubbs?
Yeah.
And his hands get cut off.
Super funny.
Yeah. So that's little...
That was a little, what's it called?
Little joke. It's a little filmmaker joke.
It's cute.
I think it's funny because I don't even really think they even say his last name in the movie. I didn't hear it. It wasn't like a part that was my name is Adam Stubbs.
No.
Kind of like Stumps.
They only show it when she watches that movie that he made.
Right.
That's it.
That's true, yeah. But they don't make a point about
Not
it,
at
so it doesn't really draw your attention to it.
It's a little foreshadowing.
You
Sorry.
also brought up something that I totally forgot about, and one of the people in the industrial scene, one of the musicians,
one of my favorite bands, God Module.
Yeah.
Samples.
Who we kind of know a little bit. Yeah.
Jason, shout out. Love your face.
Yeah, if you listen, Jason, shout out, brother.
Yep.
I think the first time I met him, I was like wildly drunk and over hugging him and stuff.
The first time I met him, I was like 16, so I wasn't wildly drunk. Yeah, but Victim Among Friends is the song in particular where I know for sure they sample this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's another one too, but I can't
I think it's just
remember
called Among
specific-
Friends.
No, it's Victims Among Friends.
Oh, okay.
Is the song.
Yeah, they use the screaming in it, and then they have
Yeah.
the one line, which is...
They use her screaming, and then they use when Adam says, does this stuff freak you out? And she says, nothing freaks me out.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think they go a little bit further into that, too, where he says something about back to her, but it's kind of cut out and sampled over a little bit. But.
And if you guys don't know who God Module is, it's kind of like an electronic band with so they call it harsh EBM in a way.
Yeah, it's like
it's
God
not
industrial,
EBM, but it's just harsh. Like he does screaming vocals that are kind of like distorted.
It's awesome.
But all of his stuff is horror related. Like I think he even has like a T-shirt company called Villain. Yeah, he's just all about horror. But yeah, and then I think he toured with Clint Carney a lot as one of the guys on tour with him who now has made movies and special effects. So we'll probably have him on at some point. I reached out to him a while ago and he said he would come on. So
and that's when I'll die, ladies and gentlemen. That is the episode where I will take my last breath.
yeah, Clint Carney is
I love him.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I just wasn't thinking about it. But he also was in a band called System Sin. He played for Imperative Reaction, and he also did for God Module, and that's why we brought it up. But yeah, Christina would too. She's a huge fan.
Fucking love him.
And he's really cool. Like, I've met him. He's
I had,
really nice.
like, the biggest crush on him forever from the age of, like, 16 to 21.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, he does sculptures, paintings.
He's amazing. He's a phenomenal fucking artist and human being, so...
Mm-hmm. Well, what about some favorite scenes that you have? Do you have any scenes that you want to point out or favorite scenes that you might want to talk about?
Sure do.
All right.
My first favorite scene is when her and Adam have their first little, like, quote-unquote... Okay, well, I love their first...
There's several,
I love their first interaction ever together at the coffee shop because, holy shit, that's hilarious. But I'm going to talk about the scene where they have lunch together in the park.
Oh, okay, where he cuts a sandwich
That's their
in half.
first, like, actual, like, kind of, like, date.
Is that a date?
He says, yeah, it's like their first, like, hangout with each other. So, I mean,
oh, okay.
By her standards, it's probably a date. It's probably, like, one step before marriage because she's, like, so awkward. She doesn't know what's happening. And she's
already planned out her entire future with him.
Yeah, he thinks he's just being nice. But, you know, she's like, oh, I love you. Let's get married. Like, whatever. Anyway, because later that night, you know, she calls her boyfriend and stuff. So,
yeah.
But anyways, so he said, you know, she says something about to the effect of, like, I hope you don't think I'm weird or whatever. And he's like, no, I love weird and I love gross, talking about her job.
He said, I like weird.
I like
because
weird.
the girl says I love. I noticed.
Yeah. And then he's talking about that he likes weird and that he likes gross, and because she's talking about her job, she works as a vet tech or whatever at this veterinary clinic. And he's like, no, please, I love gross, like, disgust me, as they're eating lunch. And so she's like, okay. And she starts telling this fucking disgustingly grotesque story
about cats,
about a dog.
Oh, it's right. The intestines.
It's a 90-pound, what'd she say, 90
Jack
pound
Russell?
black lab?
Or was it?
But Jack Russell's 90 pounds.
It's huge.
That's
it's the biggest one ever.
That's gonna die because it's too big for its body.
Well, it's pretty awesome. So they had the biggest dog ever in here.
She says it's like a 90-pound black lab or whatever that they did surgery on, and they ran out of the large sutures that you're supposed to use for large dogs, so they just doubled up or tripled up on, like, cat sutures or whatever. Well, the dog's name was Seymour. That's what it was. It was a 90-pound black lab named Seymour.
Yeah.
Anyway, as the owner's at home, apparently Seymour's stitches popped when he was at home, and she's telling this story about how when the owner gets home, like, he's splayed, his guts are all splayed out on the back patio, and there's blood all over the
white
wall.
picket fence.
All over the white picket fence. There's blood all over the white picket fence, and it's just like it's just like a disgusting.
Because it was like jumping up on the fence and stuff. I guess
it's ridiculous.
And
like,
she is so tickled pink about this story.
She's completely entertained. Like, as she's telling it, she's just like taking bites of this sandwich and smirking the whole time,
right.
And he's disgusted and, like, frightened.
Right.
Like, the looks on his face, and I'm just like, oh, come on, you pussy. Like, Jesus.
And then they have, like, a real date one time later, and they're sitting across from each other eating food. She was like, I'll make you macaroni and cheese. And then he does, and then he's like, oh, she's like, I have a story that I want to share with you. And then he's, like, about to take a bite, and then he just, like, slowly puts it down. He's like, okay, what do you have to say? I thought that was cute. And, there was, like, some weird little parts in it that I like, just little things. Like, May cuts herself, and then Anna Faris, like, sees her do it. And she's like, what the fuck? You know, like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just relaxing. And she's like, what? And she was like, here. And she stabs her in the thumb, and she's like, ooh, what the fuck, you crazy bitch?
The fuck, you crazy bitch?
Yeah. I just laughed about
She's
that.
just, like, staring at her, and then she's like, oh, I kind of liked it. Do me again.
Yeah, she was like,
oh,
yeah, you know what? I kind of like it.
She's such a freak. Like, that girl's the freak in
I like
this movie.
Yeah, I like when
Always.
Anna says to her, so they're like dancing on the table, and then she kisses her. Yeah, and like, she's like, do you like pussy? And she's like, what?
Cats.
Yeah, like, who says pussycat?
Pussycats.
First of all, like, no one believes you, Anna.
I love her fucking character. Like, she's like the comedic, her and the punk kid are like the comedic relief that you, like, need.
Yeah, because the tension, like, Jesus
it's
Christ.
so thick. They do such a good job of building this fucking, like, weird, awkward tension the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you needed that shit. You need Juju B Man.
The other thing I thought was funny in that same scene where she says the pussy thing, she kisses her, and then she's like, "It's girls' night. I gotta go." She's like, "Want to come? Oh, you need your beauty rest. Not much though." And I was like, "Oh, sly."
Yeah, she's like super. She's so slick the entire time, and she's like trying to hit on her, get her to pay attention to her. I'm just like, jeez.
Do you have another scene?
Yeah.
Which one?
When she makes her first kill. Poor Jujubee man.
With Blank.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He's just so stupid.
What did you think you're doing?
You want to get some? I was like, he's like, I'm just trying to make conversation or like whatever when he's talking to her in the bus bench. And she's being super rude. And he's just like, well, I'm just trying to make conversation. Like, he's just trying to talk to her. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, you want to go get some Jujubees with me?
And then she smiles. She's like, oh, someone likes me again.
I'm like, what the fuck? So
you know that scene was supposed to be different. They changed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was originally, she was just sitting on the bench with this, like, angry tone to everybody that walked by her.
Oh,
like, she was just being a bitch to everybody, including him, and he just wouldn't put up with it, so he's just like...
He was relentless.
Right, he was relentlessly nice to her, and she gave in somehow, and then takes him home and fucking kills him.
It's kind of more believable how they did it. So
yeah.
I'm glad they changed it.
Did you notice that all the kills in this movie, by the way, were dealing with the head?
From the neck up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or from the chest up, except for Adam's.
Yeah, there was a couple that were lower, like, he did stat... Yeah, Adam got stabbed in the stomach.
Adam's the only one.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. But everybody else was in the head.
Yeah, everything else was like upper torso.
Right,
above.
It's weird.
I don't know. I love that part with fucking Punk Kid. He's so funny.
Blank.
Because he's just like, I'm burning up, man. I'm so hot. Do you mind if I take my fishnet shirt off? Like, he's wearing a fishnet fucking tank top. And so she's like, yeah, whatever. And so he takes off his fishnet shirt. And then he's like, I'm burning up. I'm still so hot. You got any ice I can rub on my nipples? Mouse died. Dead for like 10 fucking minutes after that. Like, I had to pause the shit so, like, until he'd stop laughing because he was just losing his fucking mind over this. He's just like, what the hell? And I'm like, we needed him and his fucking glued up fucking weird hair. I don't know.
Was, I don't know. I feel like someone didn't know how to do hair.
Glorious. So bad. And then she keeps it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that part was really weird, though. I was like, first of all, he's trying to be sly so that she'll be interested in him.
He's trying to bone her.
Yeah, he's trying to bone her, pretty much.
I love it. You got any ice I can rub on my nipples?
Like, calm down,
He
Duvall.
just, like, gets up and runs into the kitchen. And I'm like, oh, no.
We got ice nipples over here.
Yeah, ice nipples over here.
Going in the cat box, the freezer,
the
you know.
Cat box. I loved it. It needed it, though.
One of the scenes that I really liked that I thought was really odd and kind of out of place, but also kind of like really cool at the same time. It felt very dreamlike. Was she ends up seeing a little girl who is blind, and she decides to donate her time and sign up to basically help these blind kids out, specifically for this girl who feels alone because she knows what it's like. And so she's sort of vicariously trying to fix her to fix herself, which is pretty much the theme. It's like all these different layers of her trying to help prevent herself from being a murderer in some way. But she goes there and she brings her doll that she's abandoned because she fell in love with the guy. And not only that, the glass case is broken. Why the fuck would you let a bunch of blind kids touch a broken glass?
I was like, what the hell?
I know, it didn't make any sense to me. And then they knock it over and break it like in some like frenzy of like zombie like fucking actions, and like all these blind kids are like feeling around on the ground,
their hands and knees crawling all over the broken glass.
Yeah, like there's blood everywhere. It's all over her, it's all over them,
but god damn it,
yeah.
Is that scene fucking
it's
awesome.
Pretty ravenous. Like, it's weird, but it's kind of like the breaking point. It's the tipping point for her in a way, because
this is what leads up to her just being like fucking going ape shit.
Right. Well, that and the fact that the Anna Faris character who she hooks up with is just looking for sex and nothing more. Like, she feels like she's completely abandoned by everyone. But there's a transition when she cuts off the gams
Gams.
of the girl Anna Faris is
I
banging.
love when she kills her.
Yeah.
That's the scene that I really like.
Right. That was a really cool scene, yeah. She stabs her in the head. I like that part. But just after that, after she's taken the body parts and everything, and she goes back and you see her, she's covered in blood, first of all. So it looks like the scene starts off where she's washing her hands, like her own hands. And then the next scene is her cleaning off her legs. And then the camera pans back and it's a severed leg. And you're like, I was like, that's a really cool transition. I thought that was a really nice little touch that they threw in there, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like, I have other scenes, but I don't want to ruin it. Do you have any final thoughts about what you think about this movie and why you like it so much? I mean, why someone might want to see it or who would like it more?
I mean, if you're into like any like artistic indie horror films or
coming of age,
like whatever, I don't know, this to me is a must see for everybody. Like, watch it. It's fucking cool. It's interesting. It's super unnerving. It's not necessarily a horror movie, but I mean, it is kind of slasher-esque, and bitch builds a friend,
right?
You know, so many beautiful parts but not any beautiful holes.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm like, god damn it, I love you. Like, she's so fucking creepy and she sells that shit and it's fantastic.
And yeah, I agree.
Fucking
I think
phenomenal.
Angela Bettis is probably the best thing about this movie. Hands down, she's able to do such an amazing job with the character that she did.
She fucking slays.
Like, I almost can't even see her in anything else without seeing that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I see her every
well.
time I see her. Like,
Right.
that's just May, like, to me every time, and it's one of those roles that's always going to stick with her whether she wants it to or not. But fuck, she's phenomenal in it. So
I think she did a phenomenal performance. I think she's the reason that this movie is so good. Without her, the movie would have sucked. And whoever made this movie really lucked out with her as a character, as a actor.
who cast her?
Yeah, well, even
good fucking job.
but they lucked out even getting somebody that could do that.
Yeah,
as well as her. So.
I mean, I don't think that it would have failed without her, but like without her as like that actress playing her. But I don't think it would have been as impactful.
Okay,
for sure, because she fucking delved into this role and she's just incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty haunting. Some of the characters in that movie remind me of situations I've been in.
Right.
Like, and I think it does with everybody just a little bit. Like, you've always, you've been in some awkward situation like that, and like it makes you wary of even wanting to be in this situation ever again.
Like, I told Mouse, I was like, this is you flirting. Like, that's you. Like, you're her. You're the same. You're fucking weird. And I was like, but so am I. Like, I don't know what's flirting and what's not flirting. Like, I'm fucking ridiculous. Like, I wasn't that fucking weird about stuff. I mean, Mouse wasn't really that weird either, but
I was gonna say, you joke about
Mouse
it.
is weird, but he's not like
that
weird.
No.
Like,
I was like, what?
but
Not
at the
really.
same time, like, yeah, she's super fucking weird, but it's like endearingly weird. Like, I'd be her fucking friend in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Like,
it's cute. It's like kind of weird and like
I love it.
just like the awkwardness of them kissing and shit. I don't know.
I love it. I love their chemistry too.
Yeah, that's what I thought was really good. Is like, well, all of the characters had really good chemistry.
They did,
with her.
but her and Adam had this legitimate fucking chemistry that worked really, really well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
So
he just leaves her in the middle of it because she's like,
oh yeah,
she bites his lip. Yeah, like what the fuck?
I'm like, you pussy. Like, the whole time I'm just thinking, you're a bitch.
I mean,
like,
it is kind of
Mr. Like, oh, I like weird. I mean, I've got all this fucking crazy artwork that I made with severed heads and weird shit all over my walls. Yet you bit my lip, and now I'm bleeding, and you rub blood on you, and now I'm like scared. Like, please.
Yeah, he's kind of a poser in a way.
He is a fucking poser.
But in the same regard, like, she is weird, so you don't know how far she's gonna take it.
Exactly, but at the same time, like, I'm looking at it like, I know people that like cut each other during sex and then fuck.
Wow.
So I mean, that's just what they do. And
that's
I'm
just
like,
unsanitary.
Like, I don't know. Like, I know people who do some really fucking weird shit.
No, I actually know people that
a lot of people do a lot of weird sexual shit, and I'm just like,
judge.
bro, that's tame.
But I'm just saying from his perspective, I can understand. Like,
yeah, but at the same time,
it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not like 90% of the people are like, oh yeah, just bleed all over me, no big deal.
Oh yeah,
rub it all over your body, whatever.
It's his own blood. Like,
yeah,
who cares? Like, I don't know. That was one of the things that just bothered me the most about his character. Was I'm just like, his room's super cool.
It was
like,
a little abrupt.
He's trying to sell this whole like thing that he's like this weird artist type or whatever, and he's got weird fucking shit. And I love his room. Like, I love how they decorated it and all the weird crap they put up. It's awesome. But then I'm like, so you're gonna get all offended offended and freaked out when she like barely bites your lip when you're making out, and then she's just like, oh, whatever, just like rubs the blood on her, and then you're like, nope. No, like, I'm done. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
for me.
I don't know,
I'm just
man.
like, come on, you pansy. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I can understand. I really don't. I don't think I could fault somebody for not wanting to have blood all over them, especially if they don't like blood.
I get it, but I just felt like they shouldn't have played his character up as much.
Well, think of it this way. Like, if you put yourself in the perspective, they watch his homemade movie, where his movie is about a girl and a guy going on a date.
Right.
And then they eat each other.
Yeah.
Like, on the date, because it's supposed to symbolize the mating call of what, like, people essentially are doing is ingesting another human being.
Yeah.
And devouring them.
That's like what she says, too, when he gets all freaked out and, like, leaves her in bed covered in his blood. She's like, but it's just like your movie.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, he's a bitch. Like, he's a bitch.
Yeah, that's a little weird for me.
Let him go run and be a baby about it with his little baby, like, bit lip, and let him go fucking cry. Like, come on. Get over yourself.
God damn it. This is how
you
people...
make weird fucking zombie eating
Guys,
each other horror movies.
Don't listen to Brittany. These are how people die, okay? Don't listen to her.
He wouldn't have died.
Just because someone's carving a fucking pentagram in your chest doesn't mean that you need to fucking love them, okay?
No, it
doesn't mean you're a pansy, okay?
I'm saying you're a pansy. Sorry. Like, just
Someone's going to get killed, Brittany, and you're going to be to blame.
Whatever.
They're going to find our podcast in their fucking phone,
yeah.
and it's going to be game over. Game over, Brittany.
Come at me. I dare you.
So let me ask you this. So
Moral of the story. Don't be a bitch.
Out of the two movies, what do you think is the better one? Come on.
Damn it.
Which one would you prefer? Doesn't mean you hate the other one. It just means which one do you prefer?
Well, which one have I already seen like 20 times and will still watch it another 20 times? Continue to watch it a million more times?
You set the guidelines.
This is my guideline I'm setting.
All right.
This is how I'm choosing. I've already seen May a million fucking times. I will continue to keep watching it a million more times because I love this fucking movie for I don't know. Every fucking reason imaginable is why I love this movie. Like, I just think it's so brilliantly done. It's clever. It's different. The acting is fucking phenomenal and spot on from start to finish. A lot of things about it are just great.
Okay.
And not to take away from American Mary, because American Mary has its own positives too in different ways. I also like American Mary. I would definitely watch that again. You know, like, is this something that that I would probably watch multiple times in a year? No. But, you know, May I would. So that's the only reason why I picked that over American Mary. But I do really like both movies just for completely different reasons.
Okay. So that's cool.
Both are very girl power-esque in completely different ways.
Well, murderers. They're both murderers. They're both
murderers,
seamstresses.
One's like a revenge porn murderer who is excellent and gets her fucking shit in the end, and it's awesome. The shit that she does to her rapist is great. You know, and then the other is just trying to build her perfect person.
Right. Well, but still, they're all coming of it. They're coming into themselves. Like, wow, that sounds really bad when I say that.
Yeah, they just came in themselves.
Yeah. Jesus
right.
Christ.
You get it, Alex.
I mean, coming of age. They are becoming the people that they were meant to be, for better or worse.
Yeah.
They are becoming stronger, more confident in themselves, and that they don't need other people anymore, and they don't live by conventional society.
They're strong, independent women that don't need no man.
Right.
Basically. So let's talk about how awesome that is.
I mean, May was pretty codependent. Whether it's a male or a female, regardless, it doesn't matter. She was dependent on people until she found herself, and she was able to kill without any help from anybody else. So there's a lot to be said about that, folks.
I'm a fucking psycho.
But my personal opinion on this is I would have to give it to May. It's not that I didn't like the other movie. I just feel like Angela Bettis did an amazing job.
She's killer.
She was just really good, and I will say that I do like American Mary more now than I did before. And, you know, that's something I feel like I need to do from time to time, is just check a movie again. I need to watch The Witch again eventually, just to get my opinion again.
You hate that movie.
Well, I don't hate it.
Yeah, you pretty
There's
much
so many great redeeming things about that, but, you know, I'm not going to get into that again. It's just, I highly urge you guys, if you've watched a movie and you didn't like it, and you can't even remember why, try it again.
Yeah.
It might change your mind about it. You might go in with a different perspective. check a movie out another time and see if changes your opinion. You might be in a different headspace. You might not have the expectations that you had when you went to see it the first time. There's multitude reasons. But for this episode, I picked May, and I am surprised by American Mary. So.
Yay.
Hooray! We did it! But guys, thank you so much for coming by. What did you guys think of these movies? Have you seen these movies? Have you not? Do you want to see them now? What do you think is the better one to you guys? We always love hearing it. We've been getting a lot of responses lately, and we really greatly appreciate that. We love hearing from you guys. It's always nice to know, what your opinions are, and I don't know. It's just cool. Thank you. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, go to longlivethevoid.com. Check out our hashtag horror shots, our grave plots. If you have any suggestions for show ideas for any of the segments that we do, you can always select it in the drop-down menu on our contact section. If you want to give us like a grave plot movie title name that we would put into our cup, you're welcome to do that, and if we pull it out, we will give you a shout out and make up the movie for you on the spot and even make a cover for it. So, but yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Thank you again for coming by this week. We'll be back, obviously, next Monday. Brand new episode of Beyond the Void.
Stay weird, monsters.